ecology, and that's a tree planting regime. Every bollard that we sell to every authority, we put a tree in the ground. And in the last 3 years, that's over 140,000 trees offset, giving us about 650 tons of carbon offset. Accounting for it, there are 3 levels. Most UK councils, there are about 300 authorities and agencies around the country, have actually got accelerated net zero targets. And what brings that into the supply chain are the emissions and the way they're grouped. Scope then is direct emissions. What you look at is fuels and operation on a day-to-day basis. Scope 2 is what you're doing as a business operating. But Scope 3 is the wider picture. That's your supply chain. So for the likes of Exeter, that's what your contractors and your suppliers are giving you. That's the big picture. And that's the one that we need to start concentrating on. We're looking at the Scope 3. We're also starting to look at, there's a lot of other acronyms that pop up. LCAs, life cycle assessments. We're just about to start releasing LCAs for all of our street furniture bollards. To give you an example, this fabulous little kit, lentil dairy, is actually made from sugar. And if you lick it, you'll get sectioned under the Mental Health Act. It doesn't affect your diabetes. That actually has a negative carbon value, -5 kilos of carbon, because ultimately it was a plant before it became a plastic. We account for that within the manufacturing process. We've also managed to go, our factory in Dudley 3 years ago, and the monthly output on greenhouse gases was 15 tonnes a month. We switched to green gases and renewable electricity. That 15 tonnes per month is down to 1 tonne a month. And that fact is actually quite important because that gets passed down the line to you. So for every month, every 15 kilos, it's now down to 1 kilo. And that helps you make that decision making. The LCAs that we produce, then you go to the full part of an EPD, Environmental Performance Declaration, which is an accounting document that tells you how much into your decision making process. We're getting there. Circular damage. Sustainability shouldn't just stop when a product leaves the factory. It's about the whole life cycle. That's why at TNT, we really have embraced that circular economy. 2024, we actually launched and tried our Bel-Air recycling process. And this is our basically identifying a new source of plastic waste. We've been manufacturing sign-lights and other materials now from recycled plastic and resourced and repurposed plastic. We need more now of it, and as such, we're now taking back bollards and keep left bollards from other manufacturers, such as the likes of Haldo, Glasgow. We're dealing with their rubbish for you. It's another part of that circular side of things is when we're into the manufacturing, the guys in the warehouse, it's hot anyway. If during the winter, we don't have any internal heating or any other processes that we need. Ultimately, we're actually working the work of actually embracing this circular economy for our benefit and yours. Here we go. And regression dates. Since lockdown, basically, and the pandemic, which is all of 5 years ago, seems like an eternity. But in 2020, we came out with our Eco Sign-Light, and this is a plastic-bodied sign-light that is actually made from a recycled polymer and recycled plastic. We also lowered the wattage, the amount of power it uses, from about 20 to 2.5 watts. And when you start to calculate that on a 12-hour burn over 365 days, it makes a staggering difference. I looked recently with one of the contractors in Cornwall by switching 7,500 bollards down to a low wattage. They saved £170,000 off their budget. And that's just one county in 1 year. You do that over 10 years, it's 1.7 million, and lowered their carbon value down by about 90%. 2021, we came out with our EnviroGrade, which is a recycled polymer, which is what we're starting to make some of the street furniture plastics out of. In 2022, this thing came out, concrete. Myself and a couple of my colleagues actually moved over to electric vehicles. I've now done 78,000 miles on electric. Don't have a problem with charging. Don't have a problem with range. Love it. 23, we looked at, I came onto this earlier, our factory, we went from 15 tonnes down to 1 tonne per month on greenhouse gases and emissions. Massive step forward. And then looking at the efficiencies in that way. And then 2024, we carried on into cutting our emissions at the factory by another 80%. Last year, we came out with that bollard recycling process again, and that really kicked in earlier on this year. Just to give you an example, we did a contract work with Devon, and they replaced 500 lit bollards. 500 of those old bollard shells that would have gone into landfill, which anyone here will probably recognise what a 30-foot container looks like. That's what it would have been, sold in the ground, landfill. We've actually taken those back. They're going into the cyanide manufacturer, dot bowls, toothbrushes. They're going into reusable plastic and that circular economy. This beauty was actually born of our frustration in the county of Hampshire. So the traditional concrete version of this weighs about 70 or 80 kilos. Can I have a quick show of hands in the room who actually installs street furniture on bollards, gets their hands dirty on the road? Cool. Happy days. This, you've never been there, have you? No. It's hard work. 200 kilos is about the weight of an average rugby player, not forwards. And it's heavy work. They also don't have lifting hooks on them. So hence have this issue with lifting handling and the manual handling of concrete. It's also concrete is brittle. If you drive into it, it snaps. They asked us for a polymer version, and around about the same time, we were looking at plant-based plastics. That is, the origin of that is sugar. Just for the, we'll have another show of hands who drinks rum in the room. Happy days. So take rum or take sugar, ferment it, you get alcohol. We turn the alcohol into ethanol. Ethanol becomes ethylene, and at that point, we turn it into a biopolymer. We've effectively fast-tracked 2.5 million years of compression under the North Sea. We're taking vegetation and expediting it through to the ethanol. About a year after that went through its trial, we won the Green Apple Award at Westminster, which is something we were very, very proud of. And as I also alluded to earlier, that now has a negative carbon value on its LCA, so that's cradle to gate. It's minus 5 kilograms. So what does this mean to you guys? When you specify UK manufacturer, like TMP, everything we make is, like say, 33 miles away. We're doing it ourselves. We're releasing the LCAs. We're giving you that carbon data. We're giving you the cost data and giving you the tools to make the correct choices in our eyes. Verified offsetting with ecology. And it's clear and easy decision and data making. We're not perfect, but we're accountable. And we're changing the habits and doing the work of what we do on a day-to-day basis. Not just talking about it, and we're talking bollards. That's a big question for you. I'd be happy to take any questions because I'm starting to round up. And I'm sure Sharon will give us a pitch, but Pip, by the way, then out for some